What's up, everyone? This is Big Poner. I felt like messing around a little bit on standard since we don't have the new league to play with yet. The other league's been dead for a while to me. So this video is going to teach you a crafting technique that some people might not be aware of. We have this hypothetical situation where I have three prefixes and one bad suffix. So I've got tier 1 percentage physical, tier 2 flat physical, and tier 7 cold damage. But say I was creating a bow for the ice shot, this is actually pretty good rolls. And if I can get rid of the suffix on the bottom, I can actually create a really strong weapon. However, if I don't know how to do this, I don't have a guaranteed way to wind up doing this. And, this is kind of a hypothetical thing. This might not be something that you would go ahead with. Maybe it's not what you're shooting for. The point is, so you know, say this is the beginning of next league and I wind up with this weapon, since I'm going to be playing Ice Shot, this would be something I would go ahead with because the resulting bow, like right now, with no attack speed, no suffixes that are doing anything for me, this is a 405 DPS weapon. So obviously, if I can multi-mod the bottom, this is going to be a very strong weapon. Beginning of game, going into mid game. For some people, this would be like an end game, an end game weapon. So this would be something that most people would want to go ahead with. Maybe you're not playing this build, but any three stats in prefixes or suffixes, you will be able to do this. Obviously, if I were to go with an annulment, if I hit the dexterity, that's my best case scenario. If I hit the cold damage, I'm not in that bad of a situation, but then I still have a bad mod and I can only add the prefixes, the multi-mod, and then two more stats. So then I've got an empty slot that I'm going to have to Exalt Slam. That's the reason why with the new crafting, I'm definitely playing an Ice Shot, going to keep that 19 to 41 cold damage. I have also already divined this to where it's, really nice. I'm one off on the low range for the physical damage, one off on the high range, one off on the physical damage, and the cold damage I'm a little bit more off, but the main thing I'm going for is getting the three stats really nice. This isn't like I'm trying to go for a perfect item. Otherwise, I would be using a different strategy, which I'll go over that also. Also, I wouldn't be going ahead with tier 2 physical. If I was going for like a beta crafting perfect item, I would be going for tier 1, tier 1, tier 1, which that's like hundreds, if not thousands of exalts to craft something like that. So completely unrealistic for me to be doing a video like that. Anyways, we are going to not want to do the Orb of Annulment because essentially like 75% chance we don't get the result we want. This is going to take a little bit of currency. The way that we're going to guarantee this craft that we're able to go ahead with a multi-mod is we are going to have access to it, but we're going to, since we don't want our prefixes to be changed, we are going to use prefixes cannot be changed. This is two exalts, and it crafts onto the suffixes. So having three prefixes, we can use this. We are going to craft this on. This also works for suffixes cannot be changed in the same way. So I'm going to craft on prefixes cannot be changed. So now I have the three stats I want to keep in prefixes, one stat I don't want in my suffixes. Now all I have to do is take an orb of scouring and scour it. And you'll see, this is going to only remove the suffixes. Now I have all of my prefixes. That just guaranteed that I was going to remove my suffixes only. No chance for it to remove my prefixes because the crafted mod was on there. The thing you need to note is someone was like, well, I could just use an orb of annulment. If you craft on prefixes cannot be changed and then you use an orb of annulment, if there's one stat on there, you only have a 50% chance of removing the stat that you don't want. You have a 50% chance of removing the prefixes cannot be changed. So that's a really bad idea because then you're going to have to recraft on that 2 exalt craft, and that is just going to be a really bad time for you. Plus, the scouring orb is cheaper than the annulment orb anyways, so why would you want to do that? The reason why I'm demonstrating this is because some people might be afraid to hit an item like this with a scouring orb. That's why I'm showing you how to do all this stuff so that you don't have to question whether it's going to work. So then we're going to go with our can have multiple crafted modifiers. Because of the changes, we can only put on 2. That's the reason why we're going to go with this type of a metacraft. Then I am going to be going for two mods to finish this. Critical strike chance with quality, which is another Exalt. And then I'm going to be going for attack speed. And increased attack speed. And I have a very nice weapon. Unfortunately, my multiple crafted modifier rolls did not come out that good. I'm 13% of 18% quality on the crafted multiple modifiers. Trying to divine all of this to get everything good is going to be like near impossible to get the top as good as the bottom and wind up with everything being like really good. There is quite a bit of a difference that will be in that 1% attack speed, 1% critical strike chance, the quality. If you have something where your top rolls are really good, this is not something I would do with this weapon. Like I said, this is more of like a really good weapon for early game, mid game. Personally, this wouldn't be something that I would do this type of crafting to. If I had something where I had, a tier 1 attack speed like I had last season with a tier 1 flat physical and tier 1 percent physical, that's something I'm going to go for because, triple rolled. Um but in this case, it's not quite that good attack speed on these, and this is also a Grove bow. Um, like I said, this is just for an example. Um, this is not something that I would go forward with that, um, just because it's not quite good enough to be doing that. But if I were to wind up having this item drop like this, and I was able to guaranteed make, this weapon early season when I'm, struggling, if I had those mods open, it might be something that I do. If it's a top tier base, 100% I would be doing that. Um, so I hope that this crafting method can wind up being useful for you. In most cases, like I said, I'm going to say this again. This is an example. I'm not telling you to go out and try to make a Grove bow. I'm not trying, you want the thicket bow if you were trying to make this. I'm not trying to tell you to use this influence. This is the wrong influence if you're doing the ice shot build. This influence just adds a bunch of stuff that you don't want. This is just something that I had that was an easy thing for me to use as an example for a video. So keep that in mind. The base that I would want to be using if I was actually trying to create something for myself, if I wasn't just using whatever, I would want a thicket bow, the highest tier base, and then yes, I might go to this next method. The next method is this. If you have gotten all of the stuff that are natural modifiers rolled on there, you always want to try to divine the least amount of things before you craft on stuff to the item. What do I mean by this? So there's a larger range on, for instance, the the physical damage and the cold damage. There's more space in there than say the increased critical strike chance. Plus you can think about it like this. Percent quality is a percent increase to damage. Attack speed is a pretty big one. If it is an end game item, so say hypothetically, now change this. This is a thicket bow. My cold damage is a higher tier, and I have tier 1 physical. I would divine those three stats till they're near perfect. And then if I want to make the bow as good as possible, the method that I would use to try to make the crafted stats better is if I'm not happy with these stats, I would just simply recraft on can have multiple crafted modifiers. In order to do this, I'm going to have to remove all crafted mods. This basically gives you a free way to get rid of crafted modifiers that you have on there so that you can try again. This is a very expensive method because like I just did in this video, it's 4 exalts each try. So this is really only going to be a method that you want to use if it's like top tier and you're really going for a min max on it, um, like I said, if I was in the league and this was a thicket bow and I had these rolls, this would be something that I would try to get, closer to perfect. 1% attack speed would be my biggest target because that's going to increase the it's going to give it the most increase as far as those crafted multiple modifier stats that I have on there. For every item it's going to be different. I'm just giving you um, the ways that you are able to do these types of crafts. That's the whole point of this video. I don't need this bow. This was a complete waste of currency, but it's standard, so I don't care. And I didn't want to spend the time that it takes to create an all new weapon. I have I've got lots of cool stuff. Like this is really cool. This is now legacy. Well, this is actually double legacy because it's got the legacy Eldritch and oh wait, no, this isn't my double legacy. Well, it's still a cool one. Anyways, I hope that this video tunes you into a new way of crafting. Um, Once again, I'm not telling you if you're playing Ice Shot to use this bow, this influence. It's the wrong influence. It's the wrong bow base. Um, this video was just an example so you know how to do the crafting method. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.